Hello, everyone. So, 13 days ago, the title of the video was called The Blessing I Didn't See Coming. Today's video is called Not Every Encouragement is from God. Now, family, this video I know someone will relate to because I know that we all have been listening to people that we thought loved and cared for us, that we thought that their encouragement and their advice was going to take us a mighty long way. But I feel like God is reminding us to test their spirits before, we can get the message, before we can understand what they are trying to do. Because sometimes when we listen to the wrong people, we end up going through some things that only God can fix, only God can handle. And I just want to let you all know that this video is basically to not only help you, but help other people out and to spread awareness, because not every advice and encouragement is from God. Sometimes advice and encouragement that we listen to is something way more sinister, way more dark. And the people that we listen to, sometimes they don't be around when things start happening. So I feel as though it's best for us to test their spirits and to also pray to God too, because when we are talking to people and we tell them our business or whatever that we tell them, we also have to understand that sometimes their advice and their encouragement may not be from the heart. It may be them venting to us, but we wouldn't know about it though. So that's why I feel as though it's best for us to just be very, very careful of what we listen to and be very, very mindful. Because like I said, some of these people that we are taking advice from and listening to, they sometimes doesn't come from a place of heart that we think that they are. So I have two examples of the reason why I titled this video, Not Every Encouragement is from God, because these are real life experiences. And I know it may be some people that may be watching me, but I just need for you all to understand that sometimes it's best for me to just isolate myself and get myself right, instead of me always having to look for other people and to talk to them about what I'm going through. Because sometimes my personal business is meant for me, is not meant for everyone to know. And I have been reminded so many times throughout my journey to be careful of who I tell my business to. So the first example I want to tell you all was really, I wouldn't say it was recently, but I will say that it happened sometime this year. I was going through something and I reached out to, I thought was a friend. And she was telling me about her relationships, and she was telling me, what she'd been through, her humps and her bumps and her challenges that she was going through. And she was telling me what her mom told her. And she said that advice, it carried her. It made her strong. But at the end of it, she still was going through some things, and she found herself, in a dark place. And, it made her to just think about what she could have probably done differently. But at the same time, she had to also understand that it was a lesson for her to learn in the end. So even though whatever that happened in her relationship happened, she had to go through the dark night of the soul. I can say that. She went through the dark night of the soul to understand what God was doing, what God was trying to tell her, and how she had to get herself together from what has happened. And she was telling me about what her mom told her. And when I got off the phone with her, I was reflecting. I was thinking about the things that she was telling me and everything. And I told God about it, of course, because I'm always telling God about everything. You know, I never leave God out. So in this particular situation, I was just trying to figure out, was she telling me from a place of hurt, a place of care, a place of love, or she was just trying to just in some sort of way try to make me to feel like, oh, well, you know, I gotta do this, or I gotta make something happen. I didn't know what place she was coming from. So I told, like I said, so I told God about this situation, and I slowly just started distancing myself. And I feel as though when I listen to people and their advice and their encouragement, I know sometimes I may not can relate, and maybe other people can. But I also have to realize that some of the advice and encouragement that I was getting from people, it wasn't coming from a place of care. It wasn't coming from a place of concern. Now they may say otherwise, but I feel as though these people was trying to tell me something so that I don't know if they thought that I would go through what they go through, because I'm not that type of person. But I can say that sometimes people advice just isn't good at all. And it's not making me feel as though it's helping me to grow. It's helping me to elevate. I feel like the advice and encouragement that people have been giving me was sort of like a blockage, like a hindrance. And, you know, I don't want God to block my blessings, and I don't want to hinder anyone. And I don't want anyone hindering me. So with that being said, I had to pray to God and allow God to step in, because sometimes, you know, we don't know people's true intentions behind these advice and encouragements. You know, they may be thinking something, and then God may tell us something else. So I feel as though in this particular situation, she probably could have been coming from a place of concern, a place of love, but I didn't receive it in that way. So I can't say if that advice and encouragement really helped me or not, but I can say that since I distanced myself from her, I've been learning not to think of every advice and encouragement is off rip just negative, because it's not. But when God tells us to test the spirit, we supposed to do that. And I'm not saying that the advice wasn't good, but I can say that as I look back on our conversation, I can say that, you know, everything was okay until her mother gave her some advice. I would say that. The second example that I want to tell you all was a time where I used to stay with my grandmother, and I just wanted to go outside. You know, I wanted to experience things that I never experienced before. And, you know, I just wanted to hang out. I just wanted to do girl things. You know, we hang out, we get our nails done, we do all of these things outside. Whatever the case may be, I just wanted to go outside. I felt like my grandmother was being very, very strict with me. She didn't want me to do things that other people was doing. She wanted me to just stay to myself, and that's fine. But I also wanted to, you know, I wanted to fall. I wanted to make mistakes. I wanted to do things that I felt as though would be a good thing for me to do. Like just going outside and just hanging out and just, you know, getting myself in trouble. So as far as that goes, I end up meeting a friend of mine who I thought was a friend of mine, but she's an ex-friend of mine. But anyways, and she had children, and I was going over her house a lot. You know, I was always going over her house. I was spending the night, and it got to a point where I wasn't telling my grandmother any of these things. I wasn't telling her where I was going. She would see a bag and she would say, Misha, where you going? And I'll tell her I'll be back. I wouldn't call my grandmother, and it just got to a point where I just started doing it more and more and more. Like, it was very consistent, and it just wasn't her house. It was other people's houses too. So it got to a point where I just got so overwhelmed. It was overwhelming for me. People just started doing weird things around me. I was surrounded by people that weren't good, and I decided to go back home. I decided to just say, you know what, God, I know that I wanted to go outside and I don't wanted to hang out and I wanted to spend the night and I wanted to do all of these things with these people. But I learned that some people is not in a good place to be at in their life, to even have company, to even want to even do anything, because they're going through something. And when I was going around people, I was buying us stuff and everything. I was taking us out. I was doing all of these things, and it just got to a point where I just didn't want to do that, because it was always expected of me to do something. And I feel like if I'm friends with you, it shouldn't always have to be always on me. Sometimes I will want you to do something, suggest us for something to do, or to pay our way, to do things that friends would do. And in this particular situation, I really didn't think that I had a friend. I really felt like I was being used and taken advantage of. So that's what made me also distance myself from people. I came from a place of hurt in my life, calling friends too early. And that really, really made me really slow it down on calling people friends too early, because everybody is not a friend. Some people are just associates, and that's it. Some people don't even know what a friend is. And I also learned that throughout my life, that some people only want to know so much about you so they can go and tell somebody else. Want to know your business and want to know what you're getting into, want to know your next moves and everything, so they can try to block it in some way. And that's why I tend to stay to myself a little bit more. And if I need to go out, I will go out. But as far as doing other things that I used to do when I was in my 20s, I don't find that fun anymore. I used to go to clubs with people. I used to go to parties. I used to go to events with people. I used to do all of these things with people. And I learned that throughout my life of me living for 33 years, that it's okay to do things alone. It's okay to take myself to a restaurant by myself. It's okay for me to go to a concert by myself. It's okay for me to do things for myself. I don't always have to have a crew or have to have somebody with me. And it's very sad that I thought that that was supposed to make me feel happy. That was supposed to bring some sort of joy into my life. But it didn't. It made me feel as though, like, some of these people that I was meeting, they was really going through some things. And it's very sad that I never got the chance to really get to know them the way that I wanted to get to know them, because they weren't the type of people that was always telling their business as well. They'd tell me a little bit, and then next thing I know, we're not talking, or their phone number changed, or something happened in our communication. It just stopped. It just went to a complete halt. And sometimes when I'm talking to people, I tend to want to put myself in their shoes, to feel how they feel in these situations, what they be telling me. And I'm not going to hold you all up. Sometimes it be very, very traumatizing. Sometimes it makes me cry, because I used to think that I was the only one going through things, and it really wasn't that. I wasn't alone. It was also other people that was going through things too, and they had no choice. But at the end of the day, I feel as though we are all in this earth to try to help one another out, to share our testimonies, to share our experiences, to share whatever it is that God wants us to share. But also we have to be mindful of what we listen to, because, I'm not going to say everybody's encouragement and everybody's advice is bad, But I will say that sometimes people be trying to talk through you. Some people don't be trying to talk to you. Some people be wanting you to understand what they're saying, but when it comes down to what you're trying to get your message across to them, it just seems like the disconnect is just not good. And, you know, I don't want to say that I'm a bougie friend or some or a type of friend that's looking for, I don't know, this or that in somebody, because I'm not. But I can say that sometimes sometimes in my life, when I reach out to people and I be very, very concerned, they don't receive it the way that I would think they would receive it. And sometimes I just brush it off. I just say, you know what, I'll call you back some other time, or I'll call you back later. And they be like, no, say what you gotta say, what's going on? And I just feel like I'm pressuring. At that point, I'm pressuring. Because if the conversation wasn't really genuine to start off, then it's not going to be genuine when it continues, because I already know that you're not in the mood to hear what I have to say. And this is another reason why I don't like talking on the phone, and why I'd rather just see you in person. Because me seeing you in person, I can, you know, you can feel where I'm coming from, if that makes sense. And I just feel as though, you know, sometimes in our lives, when we going through situations and everything, and we meeting new people, or we just have whatever it is, whatever type of friendship that we have with people, we also have to understand, that sometimes our friends, or our so-called friends, I could say, is not going to always relate to everything that we're going through. But we shouldn't get upset about it. We should, you know, have a heart and to understand, like, you know, God made us all differently, and he made us differently for a reason. You know, what your friend may like, you may not like. What she may talk about, or he may talk about, you may not want to talk about that. That may trigger you, or whatever it may be. But it's okay. If they are understanding, and you all been friends for a very, very long time, I'm sure they can understand where you are coming from. But when you meet in people off the streets and you don't know them like that, and you be expecting, and I think that's what it is. We expect too much from people that we barely know. And some of these people are just not meant to, you know, get so much of our business. Some people can't handle that. Some people can't take it. And in this society that we are living in, some people is just not gonna tell you. They're gonna show you. So I feel as though when it comes down to any type of business, whether it's personal, whether it's business wise, whatever it may be, and you want to reach out to somebody, I feel as though pray about it first. Just pray about it. Because like I said, that person, she may want to tell it, or he may want to tell it to somebody else. And you thinking that you telling somebody, and, you know, in hopes that they won't go behind your back and try to make up something that's not true. Because sometimes people do that. When people know so much about you, they tell other people, or they use it against you when y'all argue, or whatever the case may be. It just ends up backfiring. And I don't want any of y'all to go through that. Anybody that's watching me on this video, I don't want any of you all to go through any type of situation to where, you know, your business is being spread and you only told one person. And then when you reach out to that person that you told, they making it seem like you in the wrong, or they're not looking at themselves as they're being wrong. And it makes you feel as though I can't trust you. I don't want to deal with you. And, you know, I just wish the best for you in your life. And you all go y'all separate ways. You know, and sometimes it's best for that to happen. It's best for that to happen, to break apart, because that's not a friend. Some of these people don't even know what a friend is, don't even know how to be a friend. And other times, if they do know how to be a friend, behind closed doors, they probably doing the same things that you don't expect for them to be doing, but they do. You know, some people wear masks, and it's very heartbreaking. It's very sad that we are at these ages now that we still don't know how to be a friend to one another. We don't know how to care for one another. We don't know how to uplift. We don't know how to encourage. We don't know how to love. We don't know how to do any of these things that God do. We don't know how to be that to one another. And we expecting all of these things for other people to do, and they just not like that. Some people were raised differently than us. So when it comes down to our business, when it comes down to anything that we are sharing to someone, we have to be understanding of the fact that we have to sometimes just understand that not everything is meant to be shared. It's okay to keep things to yourself. It's okay to pray to God about it. It's okay to talk to God, because I feel as though God wants us to do that. He wants us to know what's going on with us. He don't want us to go out here and telling everybody else, because he knows their intentions. We don't. Yes, he tell us to use the discernment, but sometimes people like to play tricks on people. So I just want to let you all know on this video to just be very, very careful of what advice and encouragement that you get from people. And also pray to God too, because God can send you some things, some signs. And when he starts sending you those things, please pay attention to it. Don't turn a blind eye to it. If you tell God, hey, God, I need you to do something for me, and he does it, hey, you got to understand, he's trying to help you. He's not trying to make you upset. He's just trying to let you know, hey, this person ain't right. So just be very, very careful. I have 3 scriptures that I have for you that I want you all to highlight, to share with a friend, or just understand that, some things we just got to be careful. That's all. Just being careful and to understand. Proverbs 14:12 says, there is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. The second verse I have from you comes from John 10:27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And the last verse I have for you comes from 1 John 4:1. Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. I ask that you all please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and to share with someone that you think will need to hear this video. And I will see you all on my next video. God bless you.